Take a look at what you did, what your three outcomes were yesterday that we wrote down, and then did you check them all off? What were your three outcomes to accomplish yesterday, and did you check them all off? And if you did, give yourself a pat on the back. If you didn't, why didn't you? What stopped you from doing that? If those were the three most important things in your 24 hours. And then what are your three for today? What are your three for today? What are your three outcomes for today? And then I want to do a real quick reset on just a reminder of why we're here and what the Alliance is all about. Okay. So I'm gonna read through this out loud, and I might call on certain people to read certain parts of it. Okay. So the first part says, I'm totally committed to the effort it will take me to reach blank CPO during this push period. I will help rally and support the other Alliance members so that we can all achieve more during this push period than we would without each other's support and encouragement. I will do everything that it takes to achieve my goal. If I exceed 15,000, Nate or Mike will buy me a kick butt meal. I will strive to do 4+ appointments every day during the push. I recognize that by doing 60+ appointments during the push, I am choosing a path that will give me a realistic chance at, that's probably 15,000, or more. Maybe it's different depending on your schedule. I will show up to all phone jams with at least 60 names and numbers to call. I will not leave a phone jam until I reach my goal, which I will share with my manager before each phone session. So that's why that's why I have you put this here that none of you filled out. So can you take a second and please fill that out? in this one. Probably the two most important columns towards your momentum. One of you did. One of you wrote okay. Sarah, I think. Fantastic. So you shouldn't leave until you reach your goal number of demos. There's no point in you coming to this Alliance, listening, and yes, you might get some great info and it might inspire you at different points. But if you leave without booking demos, in my opinion, it's pretty much a waste of time. So what is the number of demos that you're going to hit no matter what before you leave for your day? And if you're like, well, I have a 9:30 demo, but I don't have my next one until 3 p.m., I would definitely 100% cancel the 9:30 or do it in the other room at the office. And then I would go and do your, and then I would do your 3 p.m. Right? So either, do you want on Zoom? So you can see it? So either do your 9:30 at the office, or reschedule it till later in the day. So that way you can phone from, 8 to 3 or whatever. You can spend time building your names list. You can spend time memorizing and making sure your close is perfect, right? This is one thing I think that we're missing is the accountability part of it. Carter, why don't you read number 4 for me, if you don't mind?
I will be at the phone jams on Saturdays and Sundays, at least 200 names and numbers. I commit phoning the entire time, doing every hour is different.
Beautiful. And right now you're actually preparing for Saturday and Sunday, right? So you're preparing because you're adding names as you're doing more demos, right? If you're not getting the recommendations, let's get you the recommendations. The only reason none of you are averaging, sorry, let me say it differently. The only reason you may not be averaging where you want to be averaging is you don't have the recommendations approach memorized. And if you don't have the recommendation approach memorized halfway through the push, I just don't think you're serious about the push. Because this was an assignment on what was push started on the 12th. I think we gave the assignment on June 28th to have the approach memorized. That's 3 weeks ago, right? Outside of Shannon, who's been here for 4 days and might have it memorized even. I bet Lacey does. The only reason Lacey's not at these meetings is she's in Oregon, so it's 5 a.m. there. I bet she has it memorized. She's been here for 4 days. You know how I know that? Because she gets about 6 to 7 recommendations on every single appointment. Or you're just giving up. One of the two. And honestly, I hope it's that you don't have it memorized versus giving up, right? All right, Isaiah. Or excuse me, Isaac, why don't you read this one? Number 5.
I will attend the Daily Alliance meeting at 7:15. I will wake up on time to be 5 minutes early. I will show up ready to make phone calls with a list of at least 50 names. I will show up ready and able to complete the same day demos I book. I will have a good attitude at every meeting.
Awesome. So if you worked at Walmart, what would your manager do if you just showed up 5-10 minutes late every single time? They would have at least a conversation with you and be like, hey, your behavior is not okay. Like everyone else shows up on time. That's not fair. Blah, blah, blah. Change it, or, we're not going to be right. We're not going to be a good fit. So in the nicest way possible, I think Shannon and Sarah were the people, and a couple of you on Zoom. Most of you on Zoom were on time. I just need you to show up. In my old office, we used to lock the door to the building at 7 a.m. because we used to run it at 7. So people would sit outside until the content part was done, and then they could come in and phone. So I'm tempted to lock the door to the office. I think it's a little crazy, but I also think it's a little crazy if you're late to your job. Right. So if you are someone that has been late at all during the push, I gave you one freebie. I would like to talk to some of you about this if it's going to be a problem moving forward. Otherwise, I'll assume that we're all on the same page. I'll call the office. I don't care that you call the office after every appointment. I care that you at least check in the group me if you've got a sale, or or maybe just keep us on the same page, right? What I don't like is I don't like having someone that's like shows up to the alliance meeting the next day and goes, oh, I had all 4 demos cancel. And then I didn't hear from them, or one of the assistants didn't hear from them, because there's a lot that we could teach you or help you with if you had 4 appointments cancel. And then I'm also like, what'd you do for those 4 appointments? So you got 4, it's probably 6 hours that you had scheduled for those appointments. I'm like, what'd you do for 6 hours? I would have booked 10 demos. And then you come in with like no doubt, right? So it's like, you want to be really highly productive with the time that you have in your day, right? I just want to remind you, like, if you're on the alliance, if you're here, you're doing something that other people aren't doing, right? Probably most of your friends are sleeping right now. You're also going to make a lot more cash than other people. You're also going to get much more valuable experience in a quick amount of time than other people. You might also make more cash than your friends do in an entire year. I'm pretty sure during my first during one of my SC2 pushes, I made more cash than one of my friends made in college in 4 years. Right? This could pay off your entire semester. Trust me, you're not missing anything cool in the next 9 days. And that's why you signed up for the alliance, right? So I will have the recommendation approach memorized before the start of the push. I will have the close memorized before the start of the push. Right? What are you feeding your mind throughout the day? When you have breaks or this or that, are you listening to Vector Connect talks? Are you listening to, Selling Knives, Changing Lives podcasts? It doesn't have to be a Cutco one, but like if you watched one every other day, it's probably going to do some good for you hearing, people that are doing things that you'd want to be doing. Right? So let's just pretend you have no idea what I'm talking about. So you go to Vector Connect. It lets you log in. There you go. And then you go to library. And then you go to either video or audio library. And then you can type literally about anything in. I can put them in the group me again, but I've put in several Vector Connect talks that I think are really good. So let's say I wanted to get better at recommendations. There's some videos on recommendations. Phoning and Rex, 2014, 24 minutes long. Let's say I wanted to get better at closing. There's 37 pages of messages on closing from professionals, closing Cutco owners, closing new customers. By the way, Curtis JQs, he sold like 1.3 million last year. So probably not a bad talk to listen to. Right. So if you're struggling with something, use your resources that you have at your disposal. Right. You can always ask me and I'll give you my advice on what are some great talks too. All right, let's finish this up. Shannon, our future 10K fast starter. You want to read number 8? I know you've never seen this thing before, but
when, not if, I struggle with adversity, I will talk to a manager to help guide me.
Love it. When, not if. You will struggle with adversity. The worst thing that you can do is just shut down and crawl into a whatever hole. Who hasn't read one of these in front of me? Hunter, can you read number 9? Can you see it?
I will maintain a positive attitude and demonstrate grit throughout the entire push period. I will not bring any negativity of any kind into the office. I will not complain or spread negativity to other alliance members. I promise to share any negative thoughts or complaints only with a manager.
Beautiful. And Michaela, hit me with number 10.
I will not let up at all during the push and will never give up on my goal. I am fully committed to the entire push. I look forward to seeing the magic happen in the last 4 days.
The last 4 days. I will maintain a positive attitude through the entire push. I will manage the best of my ability. I will be available all times for alliance members. I commit to running extraordinary alliance meetings and promise to remain fully committed to each alliance member and his or her goal, right? So one of the things that I reached out to most of you about yesterday was, hey, can you send me your stats from last week so I can chat with you and help you with those stats moving forward, for the people in Joco at least. And I think it'd be a good idea, Jack, for you to get those from, people on your team too, because we want to help you moving forward, right? Okay, so that's that's kind of what I just wanted to review and reset for the day, because we're at the halfway point, right? So this is a really big phone day. The back half of the week is where the good, the really exciting stuff's gonna happen. So if you have again, 1 or 2 appointments, make this a huge phone day for you, right? We have the team meeting at 8 o'clock. We're gonna phone from 8 to 9 p.m. and then we'll do recognition and content from 9 to 10 p.m. So if you don't have, if you don't have a bunch of demos yet for Thursday, Friday, you might need more than an hour, right? We're gonna have an hour this morning and then we'll have an hour tonight, but you might want more than an hour. So if I wanted more than an hour to make calls tonight, then maybe I start at 7 and go, and then I have 2 hours to phone, right? So then my last demo maybe is 5:30 tonight. Does that make sense? So you just want to think strategically through what's best for my schedule. Is it an extra hour of phoning, or maybe 2 hours of phoning, or is it 1 demo? For most of you, it's probably phoning, right? The only time it would be the demo is if you're like, I'm just drowning in demos. People are calling me. I have 6 for 6 today, 6 for 6 tomorrow. I need 1 more for the next day. Then I would say probably the demo might be the right move, right? So what propels your push? What propels your push is recommendations and closing. Recommendations and closing. So the closing part of things, you want to have that memorized. Same with recommendations. What I will say about recommendations is, I know we don't normally talk about it an extremely large amount up until the push, but Rex can be the source to your fuel, right? I just want you to think about this. Before Sunday, how many demos can you get in? Right, let's just say you got Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Let's just say it's 20 demos, for example. Imagine if you actually average 10 per demo. You would have 200 more names and numbers. That's why, for me, my pushes always got bigger, because I always had more. And then, by the way, I was always still adding more names and numbers. Right. So imagine if you came into this weekend or this Sunday phone jam and you had 200, 300 names and numbers. How would you, do you think you'd have a better phone jam? I think so. Right. So a lot of times it's like, you just got to nail that. So that's why I'm going to have you role play that till things are perfect. Make sure when you're phoning, you're being the most efficient with your time. So go 1 call to a next call, take a break after an hour, right? You can go for an hour on phoning. How many calls should you be making in an hour if you're on the Alliance? 25. I think 25 should be the standard. Make sure you're giving 2 times. Make sure you're firming up. Some of you have different things that, is going well for you in the push, and different things that are areas of opportunity. And firming up is a big one, right? Because you're scheduling more appointments than normal. Don't be afraid to spend the extra minute with somebody. Don't be afraid to have them jot it down so they don't forget about you. Don't be afraid to have them write down your rep number so that they have the code for discounts, just in case your manager checks up on you, right? Like, I want them knowing at the end of my call that, like, this is a legit appointment and you're going to have a ton of fun and your friend loved it, and whatever else. And then the time, right? I used to have people, we would do in-home appointments. And by the way, if you can do some in-home appointments, I would recommend doing some in-home appointments. So I used to have them, what did I used to say? I used to say, okay, great. Could you jot down my rep number or could you jot down these numbers? This is your discount code. It's also the number just in case my manager checks up on me. Yeah. Okay, let me know when you're ready. You listen to this, Carter? 336-94604. You got it. Okay, great. And then for my in-home appointments, I say, and then if you can grab a penny and have that ready for when I get there. Some people like put it on the fridge or whatever. I'll give you a chance to to win some free Cutco. And then they will go, what? All right. Oh, a penny? All right. And then half the people when I would get there would have it taped onto the fridge, literally just a piece of Scotch tape. And the other half would have it on a plate in the refrigerator, a penny. Imagine having a penny in their refrigerator on a plate for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. Do you think that do you think that they're like looking forward to the demo, or they're like, this is going to be interesting? What the hell? Because then when I get there, they're like, are you going to do a magic trick? And I'm like, pretty much. Right. And it keeps people intrigued. Right. So think of things that are going to keep them intrigued. Ways that you can keep people intrigued from the phone is make them laugh. Right. Make them laugh at the beginning, or, chuckle or whatever. Right. It's have them write things down, and then, what's something that they'll remember you by, right? So they'll remember if you have a 6-minute phone call versus a 3-minute phone call. They'll remember you more. They'll remember if they write something down. They'll remember you if you make them laugh. If you say, I'm going to be the highlight of your day, I'm going to be smiley, like, they'll probably remember that. Right. I think that you could do the penny thing, by the way, if you want to, even if you're doing all Zoom appointments. Because then they're just going to have it in the fridge or on the fridge. And then when you do your appointment, you're going to say, you got that penny? Okay, great. I just wanted to show you as if I was there. Here's your penny. And then I would cut a penny in front of them. I would cut a penny on all my demos if you guys don't do that. So it's a jaw dropper, right? So there's some tips on phoning. Mindset wise, you either are on pace or you need to let go of some of the attachment things that you have. So you need to stop judging yourself based on where you're at or where you think that you should be at, because rarely is someone ever on pace for their goal in a push. There's also no such thing as on pace during a push. Right? There's no such thing as on pace during a push. That's why I'm never like, okay, you're going for 15,000. You need to sell 1,000 today, 1,000 tomorrow, 1,000 exactly the next day, because it's just not realistic. It's not possible, and it's not how things work. Right? So you should grow this week. How do you grow this week? Look at the number of orders that you had last week and go from there. Right? Look at the number of orders you had last week and go from there. Some of you, you're going to look at the number of orders you had and you're going to be like, oh my gosh. And I'm going to be like, I know. You're totally growing, right? And some of you, you had a good chunk of orders and you might feel it's challenging to grow this week. And if that's the case, let's talk about it, right? Quentin on the district manager call yesterday, Quentin sold what do you sell, $9,500 last week? $8,900 last week. He makes 50% commission, by the way. So go run a branch. And oh, by the way, and then his office sold like another $10,000 too. So then he got paid off that. Anyways, my point in sharing this with you is Quentin sold $9,000 last week. He had 21 orders. So if somebody has 21 orders, that would be an average of 3 point something per day. If we're talking about 6 days a week, right? It's almost 4 orders a day. So how many orders are you averaging per day, right? How many do you think that you can hit this week based on your schedule? What could you do if you just went all out this week? Commit to showing up no matter how hard it gets. Commit to showing up no matter how hard it gets. Let me remind you, you all know 10 people that could buy a homemaker set. That's 10K push right there. A homemaker is $10 a day. Last night, I went with my girlfriend to meet her friend and some guy that Kat went to college with that she wanted to introduce to her friend. And I was told we were gonna meet them for a drink. And I said, all right, fine. So we went for a drink, and then I was like, I'm hungry. So we ordered some food. And then I was like, oh, well, we should get like an appetizer for the table or whatever, right? Be nice, get some pretzels, some pretzel bites. And then, so we got a couple appetizers, and then we got some like food. One thing kind of like sucked, so I didn't really eat much of that. Anyways, long story short, and then we did this like thing where you like pour your own beer or whatever. And the beers were expensive because it charges you like per ounce is the short story. So anyways, the guy gives me my bill, and after a tax and a tip, it was $138. So the reason I'm sharing that with you is when I saw that, I was like, oh, whatever. I feel like every time I go out for like a couple of drinks or like a meal, it's always like $100. We're talking about $10 a day for a homemaker set for a family. Right? You all know people like that. And again, I'm not saying you need to sell a homemaker on every single demo, but put those people in your golden hour demos. Who are your people? Who can you do the 5, the 6:30, the 8, the 9:30 demos with? Right? Jack sold a homemaker the other 2 nights ago, and it was a 9:30 p.m. demo. So those late night demos, those are really good ones. People are in a good mood. They might have poured themselves a beer, right? Okay. So what I mean by letting go of attachment is you need to either like stick to your guns of the goal, or you need to let go of the attachment of the CPO and just focus on the number of orders, right? Sometimes it's really easy to get complacent on like, oh, I got to sell 10,000, or oh, I got to sell, 15,000 or whatever it is, right? Do you remember what we talked about yesterday? Just focus on what? There was a number I gave you. So Shannon and I were talking about how to have a 10K fast start, and I was like, focus on this many demos, 40 demos. That's it. It's the same thing for you guys. Just focus on whatever the number of demos that you need to complete is. You know what it is. You say it every single phone call. Hey, Miss Jones, my goal is to complete 72 appointments over the next, in these 17 days. Right now I've completed, whatever, 14 or 21. And, I need this many more to reach my goal. I was hoping you could squeeze me in the next 48 hours at this time, or this time work better for you. You ready for a money line? Get this money line down. I'm gonna give you a money line. Then I'm gonna play a couple quick videos, and then we'll rock the phones. Here's the money line. Your friend mentioned that you were really great with your schedule. Your friend mentioned that you were really great with your schedule, and you could probably fit me in right away. Your friend mentioned that you're really great with your schedule, and you could probably fit me in right away. Imagine saying that before you ask for 2 times. Yeah, your friend said you were super nice and you guys have 3 kids and you're in this school district. You make the best blueberry pie in Kansas. So anyways, what I'm doing for school, boom, 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 showing Cutco for a scholarship. I'm working really hard to reach my goal. I'm actually trying to do 60 appointments over these 17 days. Right now, I'm trying to schedule 14 in the next 48 hours. And your friend had mentioned to me that you are really good with your schedule. So I was hoping that you could probably fit me in right away. So I was hoping that you could squeeze me in today at noon, or would tonight at 5:30 be better for you? Doesn't that just seem like just flows, right? Gosh, I'm gonna have to save some good content for later on. Otherwise, I'm gonna give it all away. All right, let me teach you a little bit about. Let me have Mike Dowd actually teach you a little bit about flatware. I would grab a couple things to jot down for your notes, or you could put these in your manual on page 14 where the flatware note or like the little flatware things are.
So ask the question. All right, so what do you?
Damn, this is so annoying. Why can't I never get it to let me try this.
Say? Should we write you? Up to that 5-piece deal.
Oops. Missed it.
No, maybe.
All right, you guys on Zoom, I'm gonna do the same thing as yesterday. I'm just gonna put this in the chat. Just click on it, watch that, and then we'll be done at the same time. It's exactly what he would do with the real
Yeah,
customer.
it sounds like it.
So what's the difference between hit him at a fair and you at the customer's table? Nothing. Well, yeah, nothing really, right? So what were some things that you took away from that? Because I'll share mine first. Actually, I won't. What was your biggest takeaway? Let's do these really quick.
He was really confident asking for the order. Like, would you swing this today? Would you swipe your credit card? Not scared to ask them to buy it.
Could you swing it today? Could you swipe your card today? Totally. Shannon.
I like how we talked about how if you dropped it in the garbage disposal or the blender, you can still get it replaced for free.
Garbage disposal, get a replaced for free. Sarah.
I like what he said. If you'll use it, if you like it, if you'll use it, it just, and if you can swing it today, it'll make sense. It just makes sense.
Like it, use it, and can swing it today. It just makes sense. Hunter.
When he said it's not cheap, I mean, I can tell you that this is 60 pieces. You just got 5. So
Yeah, yeah. This is after they already said yes to like their little whatever order. You can imagine how much 60 pieces would be if you just bought 5. Carter.
I think, well, Sarah took my original one, of like, it just makes sense thing. I think another thing too, though, is like making the customer feel special, like, this is what I can do for you, and I'm willing to do this.
That's what I'm willing to do for you, Jack.
Breaking down the 5K, I mean, like, listen, we use it for all the holidays and every day, you never have to get flatware again. It's your favorite flatware, and, you know, child and grandkid loss.
Yeah.
Guarantee, so I can replace that for you, because I know things happen, so it's relating with them a little bit, so.
Yeah, never have to get it again. And then he also just like the holidays, right? He was like, I mean, right now, think about it. What is it? July 20th, August, September, October, November, December. It's paid off by Christmas. I'd use that on your demos. And you get it for all the major holidays. Same thing with their knives, right? But just how you word it. All right. I think we got a good amount on those. I would go through everybody, but we're just kind of short on time. So I said, just for fun. He says, just for fun. Just for fun. Mind if I throw you a grand, crazy special? Piece by piece, it'd be this much. Piece by piece would be this much. Here's what it would be today in total. Here's what it would be on the Easy Pay. And then he says, out of my pocket. I'll do this out of my pocket. You can say that on your demos for your bonus points when you give stuff for free. Out of my pocket, out of my commission. I'll do this for you. Because it is. You're not lying. You're paying for it. Okay. Everyone on Zoom, you got your next video, and then we're phoning right at 8:15. What was last? No, never mind. Go get him.